Hey YouTube, welcome back. Who do we got here?
Who knows?
Who knows? What's your name?
Alex Huertas.
Alright, what'd you do, Alex?
I placed top 8 in this Thursday regional in Ohio and 4th in the most recent one, which Mario actually won in. So I think I did pretty well with Imperial.
Imperial, you'll love to see it. Alright, let's go ahead and get into the deck profile.
Alright, let's do it.
Let's do it.
First things first, let's see. We got 4 Demi-Vs.
Yeah.
You gotta have them. If you don't have Demi-V, you're throwing. You want 4 Demi-Vs. You're always gonna have jamming, or at least ideally you're gonna have jamming.
Yep.
And draw one is just for consistency. It really helps. Next is Upamon, because you do want the extra egg. It also draws one sometimes.
Yep.
You know, people throw a lot of rookies out depending on the deck, black or gray, Imperial, mirror match, stuff like that. Even yellow hybrids, sometimes they don't have they don't have a source. They just throw something out. They break. It's an extra draw. So yeah, this is the eggs. Pretty self-explanatory. I don't think there's really much to go over here.
Nice.
And then next we go on to the rookies. So we got 4 of the memory gain rookies. These guys are very, very clutch. It's basically a free Hammer Spark when you go into Imperialdramon. Even Digivolving into Elydramon after swinging with Elydramon and it dies and you use Davis Ken, you suspend, you get an extra memory to unsuspend and, you know, do some more plays. It really helps sometimes, most times actually when it comes up. I mean, there are times where you kind of break with it, but it doesn't really matter because it pays off most of the time.
Yep.
Next, 4 of the Searcher Vmons. So these guys search pretty much every single card in your deck, most of the Digimon at least. And yeah, there's really nothing else to say there. You can play them when you're at 5 with a Davis Ken and Davis out. You just play this, search for whatever champion you need, or if you need a Imperialdramon or Dino Beamon, and you can Digivolve for 2 on top of it, you're at 0, and then DNA. So I think they are very useful in most situations.
True.
Next, 2 of the Draw 1 Beamons from swinging if you have 7 or less cards in your hand. Now, I like this one over the Unsuspend Vmon because this can stack when you're swinging with your champion, aka X Vmon, most likely. It just draws you an extra card when you don't have too many in hand, when you're not really seeing what you want to see. It's nice. It's not an extra memory, but it is an extra card, which is almost the same amount of value. Okay. Then we got 1 Vmon with jamming. This is, it's interesting. When it comes up in a pretty big way. You can throw it down for 3 if you don't have Searcher Vmon against like something like Yellow Hybrid, and really any deck, honestly. And then you just swing. Bring out your XP, also swing, and then Digivolve for 2, so you get 2 swings before you go into the DNA Digi-Evolution. It's just really convenient. It's an extra swing. It gets them down even further, which against most matchups you definitely want, especially Yellow Hybrid or Mastamon. And yeah, it comes up sometimes. And then we got 2 of Madoki Betamon. Now this is the last rookie in the deck. It basically is just a filter for all the other mirror matches and memory boosts that pretty much every deck is using. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say about that. It just blocks memory. It's really good, especially against blue hybrid. Sometimes yellow hybrid, it's pretty good. Imperial and Armor Rush comes up quite a bit. And the nice thing with this is you can also Imperial it if you need to, which I have done before, to Imperial Dragon mode, to where you throw it out and like a Stingmon or Lydramon and block their memory for the next turn.
Very cool.
All right, now we are on to the level 4s. So obviously for XVmon, you love the jamming inheritable. It is necessary for the deck. Same with the jamming swing before DNA Digi-Evolution, because you do unsuspend when you do that. If you've played against this deck, you know that, and it is a bad feeling. So yeah, that's just 3 swings in a turn usually. You get the 1 from this, and then the 2 from the jamming Imperialdramon, ideally. Nothing really to say there. It's just essential for the deck. Now, 4 Stingmons, also essential for the deck. You can play for 3 if you have a blue Digimon on board, and you get the extra draw 1 after DNAing. Really nothing to say there. It adds a lot of consistency. You can just play it when you have XV and raise it, and hopefully a memory tamer. Sometimes they just give you 3, or if you have a Hammer Spark in hand and they give you 2. It's really easy to play. You just swing, hopefully your XVmon lives, play this, and DNA. Do your swings, and then, you know, go crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Next, 3 Lydramons. So Lydramon is an interesting case. It is both blue and green. It is very useful in that situation to where you don't have either a Stingmon or an XVmon. It also suspends a champion or a level 4 or lower. It's 5k, which in mirror match, that is quite big. Even against yellow hybrid, you can kill their which hybrid is the one that is 5k?
The
Kazemon.
Yeah.
You can kill a Kazemon and just purge, which is a perfect trade. You don't have recovery like they do, so you would like to get rid of their if you can't DNA, that is, you would like to get rid of their swings. So yeah, it's just useful all around. You can DNA with it, you get the swing, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And then 1 Lobomon. So Lobomon is pretty much just a game ender. Sometimes you don't have the XV or Lydramon and you have a Tamer on field and a Stingmon and enough memory and you can just Digivolve on a Davis or a Davis and Ken for 2 and do your DNA Digivolution. That is a little bit more risky though because you don't have jamming, but you know, it should be perfectly fine. That's pretty much it, self-explanatory. You usually want to end the game with this, or if you're in a tough spot, DNA Digivolve with that.
Nice.
So now on to the level 5s. 4 Imperialdramons.
Yeah.
So this is essential to the deck. It is your swings. It is usually the way you win. Yeah, it's a 0 Digi-Evolution if you have a green and blue level 4 out, which most of the time you are going to have that. And that's pretty much it. I mean, when you DNA Digivolve, you also get to bottom deck a 6k or less, which is very useful against pretty much all matchups. You can bottom deck Rapidmon, you can bottom deck any rookie, and most level 4s, I believe, if not all. And some levels 5s against Mastamon, you can definitely bottom deck like Magnamon, or Magna-Angemon, sorry. But yeah, it unsuspends when attacking, so you can swing for 2 checks, and if you have jamming under and the Stingmon to draw 1, you draw 2 cards, and yeah, it's just very, very useful. Next, we have 2 Dino B. Now, why Dino B over Chimeramon, or not 1 Chimeramon, 1 Dino B? The reasoning is I feel like suspending a Digimon is just much more useful. And the plus 1k is also something. Sure, Chimeramon can board clear, but it can only do 3k or less, and it doesn't get the plus 4k, I believe, to make it 12k. So it's not super useful. I mean, Chimera with fighter mode is a great combo, but it's very niche. I don't think it comes up enough to like have it in the deck. I think Dino B suspension, and then also I guess because suspending a Digimon and then being able to swing into it is a perfectly fine play. This deck, you don't always have to swing into security. You can be a little bit control-y if you need to, and I feel like this is a perfect card for that, even if it is only a target 1. And you don't even have to swing towards that Digimon anyway. You can just keep it suspended for a turn. Hopefully it's like a level 6 that you can't get rid of at that moment. And you just kind of like stun them for a turn and then probably finish them the next turn. But there is only 2 compared to the 4 because it is just not as useful. Then we go on to the level 6s. So 2 Imperialdramon Dragon Mode. This is probably your main combo piece for the deck. It is the main combo piece for the deck. Being able to finish games with this and HPD is very, very prominent. Especially if you have a Davis and Ken out, you don't even need another Digimon to HPD. You can just go straight into this. And I mean, you don't even need HPD most of the time. So you could just have a Hammer Spark in hand and a Memory Tamer, or a Davis and Ken and Memory Tamer. And you just go wild, honestly. You do your 3 checks, Digivolve into this, and then DNA Digivolve again, and do potentially, I believe, 3 more checks. 1 from here and suspending Davis and Ken, and then 2 from Imperialdramon. So yeah. Then we have Fighter Mode, 2 of. So this Digivolves for 2 on Imperial, which does come up sometimes. Same thing with Davis and Ken. You can suspend to get 2 extra swings out of him, because if he has a blue source, he unsuspends, and if green source, he suspends an opponent's Digimon. And also, when Digivolving, he returns a 10k or less, which is very, very useful. It gets rid of all ultimates pretty much, and I mean, the megas you usually just swing into with this guy because you can suspend them, but you don't really see too many that you need to get rid of, and if you do, you have Mega Death. So this is very useful. It also helps finish his games, especially if you can get an HPD with this guy. HPD onto Imperialdramon is very, very good, or having a rookie out and HPDing that to Digivolve here and Davis and Ken. It's just a perfect combo. The ceiling for this deck is super, super high, and you can get a lot of swings in one turn if you have a great hand.
True.
And then next, the spiciest tech of them all. One Shivamon. Now, most people did not think of adding Shivamon to Imperialdramon. If not anyone. I don't believe I've heard of anyone talk about this, at least positively, in Imperial. But I thought it would be a great addition to the deck, especially against some of the meta decks like Mastamon or Imperialdramon, which we've seen recently top quite a few events. This card completely shuts off Imperialdramon. It shuts off all options. You can swing with Imperialdramon 2 times with your jamming Digivolve on top of it for 4. Also have the swing from the XV ideally, so that's 3 swings. You unsuspend your next turn if they can't get rid of this, which most people can't without, I guess Yellow Hybrid can Rapidmon Cody's, but that's a lot of setup, and everyone else has to use options usually, unless they're black or gray and they just swing into it, or X Antibody, I guess, but we don't worry about those decks. We worry about the meta decks.
Yep.
This completely shuts off Armor Rush as well, because the effect reads, when all of your Digimon are suspended, your opponent cannot use option cards, and that's during the opponent's turn. And when it unsuspends, it trashes the top card of their security stack, which means you get an extra swing pretty much out of this guy without having to worry about options or security bombs, even Tamers. And then ideally, a turn like this is the XV swing to Imperialdramon, then Digivolve into this, unsuspend, and then swing again. That is 5 security checks in pretty much 2 turns. It's obviously not as good as just winning the game outright with one of these 2 guys, but when you're not in that situation and you know you can't do that because you need HPD usually to just win the game in 1 turn with those guys, this is a great substitute, especially because they cannot remove it as easily as the other 2. And yeah, that's pretty much it with Shivamon. I don't think there's much more to say. The only problem with Shiva, I guess, is you can't search it, but you don't really need to. It's not like it's essential to the deck. It's just a deck. You know, it's a one-off.
Sometimes it happens.
Sometimes it happens, and when it does, it usually feels great. I used it 2 times, I believe, maybe 3 today, and each time I use it, it won me the game pretty much.
Nice.
Now we move on to options. 3 Hammer Spark. Some people run 2, some people run 4. I think 4 is just way too much. You don't need all that memory, especially with the memory Vmon. You just use 3. When you get them, you get them. If they hit insecurity, you hope it's when you have a memory tamer out. And yeah, there's nothing to say about Hammer Spark. It's honestly just such a great card.
Yeah.
Next, we have 2 Megadeth. So this is your main removal card other than fighter mode. Realistically, you just suspend a Digimon and return a suspended Digimon to hand. This activates as well in security, so it is a great security bomb, especially against something like X Antibody or Black or Gray if they do not have something that stops option cards or prevents them from being bounced.
True.
That's pretty much all I have to say about that. It's also great against Yellow Hybrid when they have Ophanimon out.
Yeah.
It's really the only way to deal with it. You don't want to swing into Ophanimon. So having this is just amazing. Now, 1 blue memory boost.
Yeah.
I used to have 2 in this list, and that was 2 days ago, actually. I took it out for an extra Davis again. My idea behind this was not really the search, but the security bomb, to where it's basically a Hammer Spark, but for your next turn, so you can continue your plays on your next turn. But it just didn't come up enough. I didn't feel like I needed all that search because the deck is really consistent in itself. If you have a Davis, you don't even need a Davis. I've actually bricked against the Yellow Hybrid deck today, and I played out of that brick pretty well by just hard playing Stingmon because they're setting up their Tamers. All you gotta do is not even DNA, Digivolve, just Digivolve hard onto it. And yeah, you can just go from there. So I don't think consistency is a huge issue anyway, so it's not like that comes up much. But the extra 2 memory is nice. The search is really nice sometimes. It's just a good card to add. I don't think you need more than 1 though. One up Ice Wall. If you could have more, you would.
Yep. Broken
That's just
card.
how it is.
Yeah.
You can completely stop someone from winning the game
Mhm.
with this card. It comes up way too much. It's a Hammer Sparking Security, which is also very nice. And yeah, if you can't finish the game on a turn that you wanted to, this is a great alternative to set up for next time. Now, HPD. Obviously broken. Probably the best card in this deck, realistically. It just extends your play so much. You can swing for game with this card, and sometimes you don't even need Davis and Ken out for that. It's just a great card. You suspend a Digimon to reduce the cost by, I believe, 5 when you're digivolving a green Digimon, which all of your level 5s are green and your Stingmons are green, as well as your Lygemon. So even if you need to, you can digivolve without DNA digivolving just to get into the higher stacks, just to use fighter mode or even Shiva because the Digimon is suspended. You can just digivolve into Shiva. They can't get rid of it. You're starting to chip away at their security. Stuff like that. HPD is such a good card. There is no reason not to play it in this deck. If you are not playing this card, you are ruining the deck and not playing it right.
There you go.
3, Davis and Ken. On to the Tamers.
Yep.
So this guy, I used to have it at 2. Like I said, I had 2 memory boosts or just some other random option when I was testing. I realized 3 is good. Sure, it can sometimes be in your hand and you can't play it, but that is okay. You draw enough cards anyway. If this is in security, you pretty much win the game because you already have a memory tamer out, or this is your new memory tamer and you can just gain enough memory to where you can do all of your big plays.
Yep.
This card is so good, especially paired with HPD, like we said. You just suspend a Digimon, and then when you digivolve into your level 5s or higher, except for Shivamon, which you don't even want to unsuspend with, you can unsuspend that Digimon and continue your shenanigans. It is such a good card. If you do not play at least 2, I think you are in the same situation with HPD or Ice Wall. You are kind of just shooting yourself in the foot there. You need 2 of these. And I have 3 just for the spice. I mean, it gives you more memory. If you can go up to 5 or 4 memory, you pretty much are set if you have the combo already ready.
Yep.
Davis. So we only have 2 here, and that is because we have another tamer, which should be pretty obvious. So this is just a great searcher. It's a memory tamer. It puts you to 3 every turn. Gets you 2 Digimon most likely off the top because it grabs a green and a blue, and all of your dual color Digimon can count as either or, which is very, very nice. It adds consistency. If you're bricking but you have a Davis in hand, it's not necessarily a brick, even though you're giving them 4. It's not ideal, but yeah, this card can search out every piece you need, really. I think it's just a great memory tamer,
Sure.
especially if they hit insecurity. It's just extra cards.
Yeah.
And then the last card in the deck, Mimi. So Mimi is a very niche case, but you use her almost all the time when she is out. If you can get her out either early or through security, you are pretty much set, especially against Yellow Hybrid, which most people do have a hard matchup against because your board is either getting cleared or just you can't like push. But this allows you to, because even if your stack dies, you've already hatched an egg when you are in Imperialdramon mode or higher up. Dino B as well, just any of your greens that are higher than level 5, you can suspend this to hatch an egg and then begin raising a stack back there, even if your stack up here dies. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I got 8th and 4th. Hopefully I'll continue to do well in the future. Thank you, Mario, for letting me show my deck, and hopefully some people take some inspiration. Some cards that people deem as bad are not bad in niche cases. All you gotta do is find the right place to put them. So yeah.
That's right. Thanks for deck profile.
Yeah.